Okay, so here's something striking. Almost 90% of senior HR leaders, they agree
Agree on what?
that moving into a new role, that transition, it's basically the toughest part of a leader's whole career.
90%. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rings true. Those first few months are incredibly intense.
Right. Whether it's a promotion or you're jumping into a whole new company, it's critical.
Absolutely.
And for you listening, if you're looking to get the key info fast, without getting bogged down, think of this as your shortcut.
A way to get the core principles for navigating those leadership shifts.
Exactly. We're diving into the first 90 days, the updated version by Michael Watkins. You've probably heard of it.
Oh, yeah, total classic. Business Week bestseller, translated everywhere. Watkins really knows his stuff on transitions.
And speaking of getting insights, we should also mention Mindful Moments.
Ah, the YouTube channel.
Yeah, they use AI for book analysis. It's pretty neat, really designed to make you think, reflect critically. Kind of fits with what we're doing here.
Definitely. It's all about deeper understanding.
So, our mission today. Let's pull out the most important nuggets from Watkins' book, the stuff that can really help you accelerate your success in a new role.
Sounds good. Because those first months, they really set the stage, don't they? They're a huge predictor of whether you'll ultimately succeed or stumble.
It's like a double-edged sword, though.
How so?
Well, it's a chance for a fresh start,
Okay.
but you're also really vulnerable.
Totally. You don't have those established relationships yet. You don't fully grasp everything.
And everyone's watching. The scrutiny is intense. Opinions form so fast.
So fast. And think about it. Even if you're not the one transitioning, chances are someone around you is. A huge chunk of managers in big companies change jobs every year.
So their transition impacts you too.
Definitely. So the core goal in those first 90 days, get to what Watkins calls the break-even point.
Break even, meaning?
Meaning the point where your contribution to the organization actually meets or exceeds what the organization's investing in you. Getting there quickly is key.
And the book helps with that.
Yeah, research actually shows that using these principles can speed that up significantly. Maybe cut the time to break even by as much as 40%.
40%, that's huge. Now, it's tempting, isn't it, when you start somewhere new to just do what worked before?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the biggest traps Watkins points out, relying solely on past successes.
What are some other pitfalls?
Well, there's coming in thinking you already have the answer. Your pet solution before you've even really listened or learned.
Right, or that feeling, that pressure to just do something, anything, quickly.
The action imperative, he calls it.
Yeah.
Acting before you really know what's going on. Very risky.
And you mentioned relationships earlier.
Yes. Another trap is neglecting the horizontal ones, focusing only up on your boss and down on your team.
And forgetting your peers.
And other key stakeholders. Exactly. Those relationships are often just as crucial. Have you ever felt that pressure, maybe starting a new project or role, that urge to make a big splash right away?
Oh, for sure. Or maybe being a bit too confident in the old ways.
It happens. It's really important to honestly ask yourself if you might fall into those traps.
So what separates the leaders who navigate this well from those who don't? Is it just about skills?
Not entirely. Watkins argues failure often comes from a mismatch between what the new role demands and the leader's skills and their flexibility, their adaptability.
Okay, so it's not always just the person or just the situation being impossible.
Right. It's often about the fit and the approach. And successful transitions, they're usually built on some fundamental principles.
Like what?
First off, Chapter 2 in the book hammers this home. Accelerate your learning. Be really systematic about it.
Don't just wait for information to come to you.
Exactly. Plan your learning. Figure out who knows what. Use structured ways to absorb it all quickly.
Makes sense. What else?
Chapter 3 is about matching your strategy to the situation. This is key. He uses the STARS model.
STARS, what does that stand for?
Startup, turnaround, accelerated growth, realignment, and sustaining success.
Ah, so different types of situations a business unit might be in.
Precisely. And each one needs a different approach. A turnaround demands quick, decisive action to stop the bleeding.
Whereas a startup is about building everything from scratch.
Right. Different challenges, different opportunities. You need to diagnose your specific situation first.
So you can't just apply a generic leadership style.
Definitely not. Then, Chapter 4 talks about negotiating success. This is largely about your relationship with your new boss.
Okay, crucial relationship there.
Absolutely. He suggests a framework of 5 conversations.
Bro.
Things like understanding their diagnosis of the situation, clarifying their expectations, getting their style.
Figuring out resources, talking about your own development.
You got it. That builds alignment and gets you the support you need.
Then what?
Then, Chapter 5, secure early wins. Small ones, maybe, but significant.
To build credibility
Oh.
and momentum.
Exactly. But they need to be wins that matter to your boss and fit the culture, not just random successes.
Okay. So learn fast, match strategy, negotiate with the boss, get early wins. What's next?
Alignment. Chapter 6 is achieve alignment. Making sure the strategy, the structure, the core processes, the skills, it all fits together.
That sounds like a bigger, ongoing leadership task.
It is, but you need to start thinking about it early. Then Chapter 7 is build your team. Assess who you have, align them, get them moving, and sometimes make tough calls on personnel early on.
Ooh, yeah. That can be necessary.
Then Chapter 8, create coalitions. Realizing you can't do it alone. Identifying key stakeholders, influencing them, building alliances.
Neutralizing opposition, maybe.
Sometimes, yeah. And Chapter 9 is about keeping your balance. Managing the stress, preserving your own judgment, building that support network for advice.
Personal resilience, very important.
Critically important. And finally, Chapter 10 is accelerate everyone. Helping your own team, your boss, even your peers navigate their transitions. It's a system.
Wow, okay. That's a lot. It really sounds like the work starts even before day one.
Oh, absolutely. Chapter 1, prepare yourself, is all about that. Letting go of the old role, mentally preparing for the new one.
Is the preparation different if it's an internal promotion versus joining a totally new company?
Yes, definitely. For promotions, it's often about broadening your perspective, learning to delegate more, communicating strategy, exhibiting the right kind of leadership presence.
And for joining a new company, the onboarding piece.
Right. That's about getting oriented fast, understanding the business basics, financials, products, strategy, connecting with all the key people, boss, peers, team, aligning expectations, and crucially, adapting to the culture.
The culture piece can be tricky.
Super tricky. You need to understand the symbols, the language, the underlying assumptions, how influence works, how meetings run. The book has checklists for onboarding, which are quite useful.
That sounds helpful.
And another key part of preparation, assessing your own vulnerabilities.
Meaning?
Watkins has these tables. They help you see what kinds of problems you naturally gravitate towards, technical, political, cultural, or which business functions.
Ah, so you can identify potential blind spots, areas where you might naturally pay less attention.
Exactly. Low scores can point to where you need to be extra vigilant. And he stresses reworking your network. You need political counselors and personal advisors, not just technical experts.
People who can give different kinds of advice.
Right, and being aware that some people might, consciously or not, hold you back. It's vital to negotiate really clear expectations for this transition period.
You know, thinking about all this self-assessment and cultural adaptation, it connects back to exploring resources like mindful moments or even some of our other discussions here. They often touch on that deeper level of understanding yourself and the environment.
That's a great point. Those resources can really complement this kind of focused preparation. Understanding your own tendencies is half the battle.
Okay, so let's bring it back to action. For someone listening, maybe just starting or about to start a new role, what are like 2 or 3 immediate concrete things they should do based on all this?
Good question. First, I'd say schedule that conversation with your new boss. Explicitly talk about expectations, both ways. Not just tasks, but style, communication, how you'll work together.
Get on the same page from the start.
Okay, what else?
Second, start drafting your learning agenda. Seriously. What do you absolutely need to learn first? Who do you need to talk to? What questions do you need answered? Get intentional about it.
Don't just wander around hoping to absorb things.
Right. And third, maybe carve out some quiet time for that honest self-assessment we talked about. Use those frameworks Watkins provides on problem preferences. Where might your blind spots be?
Okay. Boss conversation, learning plan, self-assessment, concrete starting points.
Definitely. They set a good foundation.
This has been incredibly insightful. It really highlights how approaching a transition thoughtfully, using these kinds of principles, can make such a huge difference. It's not just about surviving. It's about setting yourself up to thrive.
Absolutely. It transforms it from a potentially overwhelming period into a structured opportunity.
So here's a final thought for you to ponder building on this. Think about those STARS situations we mentioned.
Startup, turnaround, accelerated growth, realignment, sustaining success. Yeah. Which one best describes the situation you're stepping into, or maybe the one you're in now? And how does knowing that, really knowing that, change how you might approach those first critical months?
That's a powerful question. It forces you to diagnose before you prescribe.
Exactly. Something to mull over. If you found this useful, please do subscribe so you don't miss future explorations.
And share it. Share with colleagues, friends, anyone facing a leadership shift.
Definitely. And if you want the full deep dive, we really recommend getting a copy of the first 90 days. Check the link we've provided.
It's a worthwhile investment in your career.
Absolutely. But remember, ultimately, your situation is unique. So take these frameworks, think critically, and apply them in a way that makes sense for you.